over 60, stop eating these 4 meats and eat these instead for healthy aging. What if I told you that one of the meats millions of older adults eat every single week, believing it is one of the healthiest choices for aging, may actually be quietly increasing inflammation, weakening muscle quality, stressing the heart, and making healthy aging harder than it needs to be? And what if one of the most powerful foods for energy, memory, strength, and longevity is something most people stopped eating years ago because modern nutrition convinced them it was outdated or unhealthy? If you are over 60, or if someone you love is, stay with me, because what we are about to talk about today may completely change the way you think about protein after retirement age. I want to start with a simple truth that many people do not realize until much later in life. Your body after 60 is no longer operating by the same rules it followed at 40. Muscle loss happens faster. Inflammation becomes easier to trigger. Recovery takes longer. Digestion changes. Nutrient absorption becomes less efficient. And suddenly foods that once felt harmless start affecting your energy, your blood pressure, your memory, your sleep, even your ability to stay independent. The problem is not that older adults are careless. Most people I speak with are genuinely trying. They are buying healthy food, choosing lean proteins, avoiding obvious junk food. But somewhere along the way, many were given advice that sounded healthy yet quietly left them undernourished, inflamed, or stuck eating foods that no longer support the body they have today. I cannot tell you how many times I have sat across from a patient in their late 60s or 70s who says almost the exact same thing. "Doctor, I do not understand. I thought I was eating healthy." And honestly, many of them were trying their best. They simply did not know that healthy eating after 60 looks very different than it did 20 or 30 years ago. Today, I am going to walk you through the 4 meats older adults should seriously reconsider and the 4 meats that may help support stronger muscles, sharper thinking, better energy, and healthier aging. And trust me, the number 1 meat on the danger list surprises almost everyone because millions of seniors still believe it is the healthiest option available. But before we begin, if you care about staying independent, protecting your brain, preserving strength, and feeling your best as you age, take 1 second right now to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because every week we share practical health advice designed specifically for adults over 50 who want to age stronger, not just older. And before we jump in, tell me something in the comments. What meat do you eat the most every week? Chicken, beef, pork, fish, turkey? I genuinely read the comments, and your answer may help someone else realize they are not alone in trying to eat better. Alright, let us begin with meat number 4 on the danger list. Deli meats and processed cold cuts. Ham, bologna, salami, processed turkey slices, roast beef from the deli counter. If you are like many older adults, these foods may already be sitting in your refrigerator right now. And I understand why. They are easy, no cooking, fast lunch, convenient, familiar. Sometimes when people live alone after retirement or after losing a spouse, convenience starts mattering more than ever. I see it all the time. A sandwich becomes lunch every day because it feels simple and manageable. But here is what worries me. Most processed deli meats are loaded with sodium, preservatives, and highly processed additives that the aging body simply handles less efficiently. After 60, kidneys become more sensitive to sodium. Blood vessels become less flexible. Blood pressure often becomes harder to control. That harmless-looking sandwich may contain more sodium than many people realize. And over time, repeated exposure starts adding up. Swollen ankles, rising blood pressure, feeling bloated, worsening heart strain. Many people assume these are simply signs of aging when sometimes food is quietly contributing behind the scenes. Now let me be very clear, because I never believe in fear-based nutrition. Eating a deli sandwich occasionally is not the problem. This is about frequency. It is about patterns. A sandwich once in a while is very different from eating processed meats 4 or 5 days every week for years. Aging bodies have a smaller margin for repeated nutritional stress. That matters more than people realize. And here is something else many people overlook. Processed meats often replace healthier, more nutrient-dense foods. So it is not just what you are eating. It is what you are not eating because of it. Better protein, better fats, better micronutrients. Small choices repeated every day quietly shape how we feel years later. Now before we move to number 3, let me ask you honestly. How many days a week are you eating processed meats? No judgment, just honesty. Put the number in the comments because awareness is often where better health begins. Number 3, deep fried chicken, especially fast food fried chicken. Now some people get nervous when they hear this because they think I am attacking chicken itself. I am not. Chicken can absolutely be part of a healthy aging diet. The issue is what happens when chicken gets coated in refined flour, soaked in industrial oils, heavily salted, and cooked at extremely high temperatures. That crispy golden crust may taste comforting, but the body after 60 processes these foods differently. Fried foods may increase inflammation, digestive discomfort, sluggishness, and stress on cardiovascular health when eaten frequently. And frequency is the key word here. Most older adults are not eating fried chicken once a year. For many people, especially those relying on convenience meals or fast food, it becomes weekly, sometimes multiple times per week. One fried meal becomes a habit, and habits become health outcomes. I remember a gentleman in his 70s who told me something interesting during an appointment. He said, "Doctor, I do not understand why I feel so tired after lunch every day." When we talked through his meals, he admitted he stopped by a fried chicken restaurant several afternoons every week because it felt quick and comforting. After making simple changes, adding more whole foods and reducing fried meals, his energy noticeably improved within weeks. Not because of a miracle, because the body often responds when we stop overwhelming it. And if you are enjoying this conversation so far, type healthy aging in the comments because I want to know who is serious about protecting their health after 60. Now let us move to number 2 on the danger list, processed pork sausage. This one surprises many people because sausage feels nostalgic. Weekend breakfast, family traditions, holiday mornings, comfort food, feels homemade, safe, familiar. But unfortunately, most commercial sausage products today are heavily processed, loaded with sodium, saturated fat, and additives that older bodies often struggle to tolerate well in large amounts. Here is what makes this especially concerning. Sausage is rarely eaten alone. It comes with white toast, sugary jam, hash browns, sweet drinks, or pancakes covered in syrup. Suddenly breakfast becomes a blood sugar roller coaster combined with heavy sodium and inflammatory fats. And when this pattern repeats year after year, the body pays attention even if we do not. Higher blood pressure, more inflammation, less stable energy, greater strain on the cardiovascular system. Again, I want to emphasize moderation matters. Enjoying sausage occasionally with family is not the same as eating it every morning. But if sausage is your regular breakfast protein, this may be one of the highest impact changes you can make for your long-term health. And now we come to the number 1 meat that generates the biggest surprise, the biggest pushback, and honestly the biggest misunderstanding. Factory-farmed, skinless chicken breast. Yes, chicken breast. And before you click away, hear me out because this is important. Chicken itself is not dangerous. The problem is what happens when older adults build their entire diet around ultra-lean, factory-farmed chicken breast while avoiding healthy fats and protein diversity. For decades, we were told skinless chicken breast was the gold standard of healthy eating. Low fat, high protein, heart healthy, doctor approved. But here is what many people never heard. After 60, the body needs more than protein alone. It needs nutrient density. It needs healthy fats for the brain, hormones, joints, and absorption of important vitamins. It needs protein variety. It needs nutrients that support strength and resilience, not simply low calories. Many older adults tell me, "Doctor, I eat chicken every day and still feel weak." And sometimes the issue is not eating too much food. Sometimes it is eating too little nutrition. But here is the good news because now we move to the 4 meats that may genuinely help support healthier aging, stronger muscles, better energy, and improved quality of life after 60. And number 4 surprises almost everybody. Number 4, grass-fed lamb. Now I know lamb is not the first thing most people think about when they hear the words healthy aging. But perhaps it should be. One of the biggest mistakes older adults make is assuming healthy eating means eating less, eating bland foods, or avoiding richness altogether. But after 60, the goal is not simply eating lighter. The goal is eating smarter. Your body becomes less efficient at absorbing nutrients. Muscle loss accelerates. Energy drops faster. Healing slows. And this is where nutrient-dense proteins begin to matter more than ever. Grass-fed lamb provides high-quality protein along with nutrients many older adults quietly become deficient in, including iron, zinc, and vitamin B12. Why does this matter? Because low B12 levels may contribute to fatigue, memory concerns, poor balance, tingling in the hands and feet, and that frustrating feeling of mental fog so many people blame entirely on aging. Iron helps carry oxygen through the body. Zinc supports immune health and healing. Protein supports muscle maintenance, which becomes incredibly important because muscle loss after 60 is one of the biggest predictors of frailty, falls, and loss of independence later in life. I once worked with a woman in her early 70s who told me she suddenly felt weak all the time. She thought she was simply getting old. But after improving protein quality and eating more nutrient-dense meals, she felt stronger within months. Not 20 years younger, but noticeably stronger, steadier, and more energetic. Sometimes people underestimate how responsive the body still is, even later in life. If you choose lamb, quality matters. Slow roasted lamb with rosemary, garlic, olive oil, and vegetables can be both deeply nourishing and satisfying without feeling restrictive or complicated. 2 servings per week may be more than enough for many people. Now before we move to number 3, I am curious. Have you eaten lamb recently, yes or no? Tell me in the comments because many people either love it or have not touched it in years. Number 3, pasture-raised duck. Now this one surprises almost everyone because duck rarely appears on lists of healthy foods for seniors. But maybe that needs to change. Duck offers something many older adults struggle to get enough of: nutrient density combined with satisfying healthy fats. Let me say something that may surprise you. Fat is not automatically the enemy after 60. For years, people were taught to fear fat entirely. Low fat became the answer to everything. But your brain depends on healthy fats. Hormones depend on fats. Cell repair depends on fats. Stable energy often depends on fats. The problem is not fat itself. The problem is low-quality processed fats and excessive fried foods. Duck contains high-quality protein, healthy fats, and nutrients like iron and B vitamins that may support energy, mental sharpness, and overall resilience. For many older adults, appetite becomes smaller with age. That means meals need to work harder nutritionally. You cannot afford empty calories the same way you could at 40. You need foods that actually deliver something valuable in return. And here is something many people overlook. Feeling constantly tired is not always just old age. Sometimes it is poor nutrition wearing a disguise. Slow roasted duck prepared simply can be deeply satisfying and nutrient-rich without needing complicated recipes. If you have never tried duck, maybe it deserves another look. Now we move to number 2, and this one may be the most underrated food on the entire list. Sardines. Before you wrinkle your nose or click away, hear me out because I genuinely believe this is one of the smartest foods many older adults are not eating. Yes, they come in a can. Yes, they have a stronger flavor. But sardines are incredibly rich in nutrients that support healthy aging. Protein for muscle maintenance. Omega-3 fats for brain and heart health. Calcium for bones. Vitamin D for immunity and strength. And perhaps most importantly, convenience. No complicated cooking. No expensive ingredients. Open the can and they are ready. One of the biggest fears many people have after 60 is losing independence. Losing mobility. Losing memory, losing strength. And while no single food guarantees anything, nutrition absolutely matters. The choices repeated every week quietly shape how we age. I once had a patient laugh when I suggested sardines. He told me, "Doctor, I have not eaten sardines since I was a kid." 3 months later he came back and said, "I still do not love the taste, but I actually feel better. More energy, better satiety. Less dependence on junk snacks between meals." Sometimes healthy habits begin imperfectly. Sardines can be added to toast, salads, soups, or eaten simply with lemon and herbs. Start small if needed. Your taste buds may surprise you. And now we come to number 1, the food that creates the biggest reaction every time I bring it up because some people love it, many people hate it, and almost nobody realizes how nutrient-dense it really is. Beef liver. I know. Some of you immediately thought, absolutely not. I understand. Liver is not fashionable. It is not trendy. It is not what most people picture when they think of healthy eating. But let me tell you something important. Sometimes older generations had nutritional wisdom modern culture forgot. Beef liver is one of the most nutrient-dense foods available. It contains highly bioavailable iron, vitamin A, B vitamins including B12, zinc, copper, and nutrients that support energy, immune function, red blood cell production, and overall vitality. Many older adults tell me they feel tired all the time, mentally foggy, weaker than they used to be. And while many things can contribute to that feeling, nutritional gaps are often part of the story. Here is what fascinates me. Some people spend hundreds of dollars every month on supplements hoping to feel better while overlooking real whole foods packed with nutrients their bodies may actually be missing. Now let me be balanced and responsible because more is not always better. Liver is nutrient-dense, which means moderation matters. Depending on medications, medical history, and individual needs, not every food works for every person. But thoughtfully included once in a while, liver may provide nutritional value many older adults are not consistently getting elsewhere. If the taste intimidates you, there are options. Some people mix small amounts into burgers or meatballs. Others cook it with onions, garlic, or herbs to soften the flavor. You do not have to love it overnight. Sometimes small steps matter most. And before we finish, I want to leave you with something I genuinely hope you remember. Your body after 60 is not failing you. It is asking for different support. The rules changed. That is all. You need more nutrient density, better recovery, smarter choices, less processed food, more foods that genuinely help the body function instead of forcing it to work harder. Aging well is not about chasing youth. It is about protecting independence, protecting energy, protecting memory, protecting quality of life. Because the goal is not simply to live longer. The goal is to feel good in the years you still have ahead. You do not have to change everything overnight. Even replacing one processed meal per week with something more nourishing matters. Even adding one nutrient-dense food back into your routine matters. Small, consistent choices quietly become powerful results over time. Now I want to hear from you. Which meat on today's list surprised you the most? Was it deli meat? Fried chicken? Skinless chicken breast? Or maybe beef liver completely shocked you? Tell me in the comments because I genuinely read them and your experience may help someone else watching this video feel less alone. And if this video helped you in any way, please take 1 second to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications because every week we share practical, science-based health advice designed specifically for adults over 50 who want to stay strong, independent, sharp, and healthy for years to come. And please share this video with someone you care about because someone you love may be eating foods every single week that quietly affect how they feel tomorrow. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Take care of yourself, stay healthy, stay strong, and I will see you again in the next video.